Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about residuals that we get from GBS. So once you've recovered from Guillain-Barre, there is kind of this assumption that life goes back to normal and once you've recovered, you're good to go. But that's not always the case, and a lot of times we deal with residuals, we deal with ongoing issues. So I'm going to talk about those today and some of the different things that we experience post-GBS. So for the most part, I'm going to be talking about residuals that I myself have dealt with. I might mention a few others that I've heard about. Please know that for me, I do have very mild residuals, so there are varying degrees, but I will talk about as many as I can. So one of the most common and the most frustrating, personally, that I think residuals is fatigue. And what that is it's just a feeling of tiredness and lethargy and just feeling like you haven't slept in days. Sleep doesn't help. You've got this fog over your brain. It's hard to have conversations. It's hard to focus. You just want to lay down. You just want to sleep. Sometimes you can't. And I think that's probably one of the most difficult ones to deal with. The second most common residual is probably nerve pain, and that's usually in the hands and feet. It can also travel up the arms and legs. It can range from very mild to severe, and it's just like this burning, tingling, pins and needles, aching, throbbing, shooting pain that just travels out throughout your body, and it's just your nerves are just going crazy. We also deal with hypersensitivity in our feet, and what that is just where everything feels a lot more painful than it should. So walking on sand is quite painful, walking on rocks is excruciating, and you're just kind of feeling like your feet are asleep all the time. We also experience muscle weakness, and I don't just mean if you haven't completely recovered, but just in general, even if you have recovered, your muscles get tired quicker. So sometimes, like when I'm walking upstairs, once I hit the 7th step, it's very hard for me to lift that leg, and it's just a little bit more work. So our muscles do tire a lot easier, and in reality, it's actually not the muscles, it's the nerves. But it appears that way because your muscles just seem to be giving out sooner. Most of us deal with muscle cramping, Charley horses, usually in the middle of the night, tightness, so usually in the calves and in the quads, and there's this random feeling of bugs crawling up you. Again, that's just the nerves, but you feel like there's something crawling up your leg and there isn't. Some people have issues swallowing. I myself never really dealt with this, but it can be an ongoing issue where you're just not able to swallow food properly. Swallowing pills, I know for me is hard. I think that's for a different reason. It's just because I had so many pills that I took that now I'm turned off my pills. And then vocal cord damage is also one that it's not with GBS, it's more with the breathing tube or the trach that you have. But for me, my voice was completely damaged. This is not my real voice. It is now, but those are some of the things that you don't even think about. During the acute phase of GBS, and of course during recovery, I think most of us dealt with anxiety and depression, and it can linger. I think after going through what we did, you're more prone to being depressed and dealing with anxiety. And then of course, PTSD is quite common with people that have gone through such a traumatic event. And even though GBS doesn't affect the brain, I think we all deal with cognitive issues, trouble finding words, trouble carrying on conversations. I can't count how many times where somebody has asked me something and I've got the word, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I just cannot seem to think about it. Another very interesting residual is the inability to regulate temperature. So for me, I'm cold majority of the time, but then when I get hot, it comes on very quickly. It's almost like a hot flash. And suddenly I'm like sweating profusely and I feel like I'm going to die of heat. I'm unable to regulate temperature in my feet, so they are freezing all the time. But it's really weird, they actually can't feel temperature. So, I can walk outside in winter and I can walk on snow and not even feel it. I can get into a bathtub and it can be like scorching hot water and I won't even feel it until it hits my ankles. And then my hands are the opposite, so I cannot touch anything super cold or super hot. If I grab a cup of coffee, it instantly feels like it's burning my hands. If I touch snow in the wintertime, it feels like I'm getting frostbite. For those of us that were on ventilators for a long time, we deal with breathing issues. So even like me, even though I've recovered and I can do tons of cardio and I'm able to handle it, I still deal with breathing issues where just sometimes I just feel like I'm out of breath, or sometimes I'll walk up a flight of stairs and I just feel like I cannot get in a full breath. Balance is another huge issue that most of us deal with and most of us don't get back. For me, I have to stand up against a wall to put on my pants. I cannot stand on one leg. And I think a lot of people struggle with just maintaining balance even when walking. Another interesting residual is that our muscle strength doesn't seem to come back evenly when it does come back. So for me, I mean, I've noticed a lot over the years that when I'm working out in the gym that one arm is much stronger than the other, one muscle in my leg is much stronger on one side than the other, and just various different exercises that I will do there, just very uneven. And the last very common residual is muscle spasms and muscle stiffness, just feeling like your body's going crazy and feeling like your body is like 80 years old. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. I'm not going to dive into each of those residuals. I'm going to save those for later. Obviously, there is so much to talk about with regards to each residual and how you can help them and how you can manage them. But I want to try and keep these videos as brief as possible because obviously everybody's busy and nobody wants to watch like a 15-minute video all the time. But I really wanted to talk about some of the residuals that we deal with. And like I said, we all deal with them to varying degrees. So some people deal with these very severely. Mine are quite manageable at this point, and I hopefully will be able to talk about some of the things that help me down the road. So thanks for watching today, guys. And if you guys want to share this video, this is probably a good one to post on your Facebook or whatever and just create awareness for the things that we deal with after GBS. Have a great week, guys.
Thanks for watching.